from the Estados Unidos by way of OC, Los Angeles, and the West Coast. Coming to you, repping tarifas, knocking out agendas of the cancel culture and 50 rats, breaking down doors in Hollywood for La Raza. Unashamed of the creator, because no one is greater.
Tell me about growing up in White Fence.
Growing up in White Fence, first of all, my dad was from White Fence, and I'm just gonna keep it real. I was 5 years old when I was not kicking back, that came out wrong, but I would see my dad and all the older homeboys, just getting loaded and stuff, and so from 5 years old, living in the neighborhood right there, I started claiming the neighborhood, you know what I mean? And from that time on, my head got corrupted, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna be a gang member from White Fence, whether my dad accepts it or not, because I couldn't understand why he wouldn't accept it, but all the other homeboys would. They were little did they know that they were corrupting me every time they would talk to me, and growing up in White Fence was crazy, because everybody wanted to be from White Fence. And if your parents were from White Fence, you were gonna be from White Fence. That's why I'm from White Fence. Well, in my time, bro, being from the neighborhood is where you grow up is where you're from, But I happen to be part of that generation where if your family moved somewhere else, you start other chapters and stuff. That was going on. But you asked about the initiation. Well, you got to get jumped in, But with our neighborhood, you had to run with our neighborhood for a long time before you got in, You couldn't just get in. We didn't just get anybody in the neighborhood. That's the way it was in our time, But times are different. Times are different now. Kilroy, what I knew about Kilroy was that he was the big dog on the inside, And I heard a lot about him growing up, but I never met him. I never got a chance to meet him till this year. Finally. I heard a lot of stuff about Kilroy, that, when it comes to politics and politicians, that, he was behind it all, you know what I mean? And one thing I constantly was asked my whole life was like, oh, you're from White Fence, Kilroy, and I tell everyone straight out. Yeah, I'm from White Fence, but I don't know Kilroy. I mean, come on now, we got like a 40-year difference, you know what I mean? And I told Kilroy that when I met him, A lot of times too, people would tell me, why don't you look him up on YouTube and stuff? And I used to be like, for what, If I meet him, I meet him. And it was a blessing to meet the Vato this year, because we've been connected ever since, especially that we both serve the Lord. And I had heard also that he was Christian too, That's another thing I forgot to mention is that growing up, I heard about him from when I was in the guys, running amok. But then I had also heard he had turned Christian, And it's a blessing to meet him because I'm a Christian now myself, For all you homeboys and homegirls watching this, all I gotta say is straight up and straight out. What I think WF stands for now is World of Fantasies, because that's what you're living in. You're living in a fantasy world that's a lie. And you're wasting your time, you're wasting your life. You need Jesus. Jesus is the only one that can change your life, because when it comes down to it, when you die, ain't nobody there. Just like when you get busted, ain't nobody there. But God's always there. God will always be there for you. And a lot of you homeboys and homegirls that know me personally, half of you are Christians. And you know what time it is, because you ran with me and you know everything we did and what we're all about, you know what I mean? And you all know the same thing I know. It's all about God, bro. What I grew up experiencing in the neighborhood growing up, number one, my dad being from the neighborhood, and then my cousins getting in, and other family members, that's what it was all about back in the 80s was, to be a cholo, to be from a barrio, you know. And like I had said before, you know, I've been claiming the neighborhood since I was 5 years old, you know. And being from White Fence was like the best thing that could ever happen growing up in the East Side, you know. Everybody wanted to be from White Fence. And if you had a family member from White Fence, it was even better, because, you know, you got the red carpet even faster, you know what I mean? Just, you know, knowing that your family member was from the neighborhood and everybody knows them. But in our time, that's what it was all about, was being from a gang, you know, especially the White Fence, you know. Our neighborhood it's like a world famous gang. Everybody knows about White Fence, you know. It's the first gang that came out and the oldest, you know what I mean?
You know?
Even if you see, in his time, there wasn't no parents like in my dad's time, you know. So it was, back then, it was more of that's how you became a gang. It was more a family thing. I came in the generation where that wasn't even happening. It was like, that's what was in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but talk about what you know.
Like what part though? Like,
Kids.
what do you mean?
Kids, why are they growing up in White Fence?
Okay.
Kids in general.
All right. Is it recording? Okay, well, about the youth getting into White Fence or any other gang.
You know, when they grow up.
Well, the kids, what they do is they look up to all the guys, you know what I mean? That's all they see in the neighborhood, you know what I mean, is gang members. But it's different now, you know? It's not the same like it was when I was growing up. You know, I'm not trying to say I'm all older. I mean, I'm 41, but it's totally different now, you know what I mean? To be straight out with you, there ain't no more cholos, you know what I mean? That, to me, that all ended like, it wasn't till like the 12, 13 years old, you know what I'm saying? Where, you know, that you're gonna waste your life in a fantasy world, a world that don't exist. That's what I would tell the kids, you know what I mean? You're gonna waste your life. That's what I did, straight up and straight out, you know?